Political editor Kartikeya Sharma, who's joining me on the phone line. Kartikeya, how do you view the Indian Prime Minister's message this hour?
See, I think there are a couple of things. If you look at the world history, Akanksha, in which if major domestic, social, or war problems have taken place, the word generally which the Prime Minister and the Presidents globally have used is solidarity. You know, even for the Velvet Revolutions which we witnessed in 1980s and early 90s in Eastern Europe. So I think this is part and parcel of Prime Minister's political grammar, whereby he tries to build solidarity when it comes to a political project. Now, this is not a political project. This is actually an attempt by a nation to ensure that the COVID-19 outbreak does not become as intensive and widespread as it has become in America, New York, Italy, Spain, and other parts of the world, UK. Secondly, I think another takeaway for me is when he stressed on the word poor, because it comes in the wake of the criticism which was there for the government in context of the crisis of daily wage workers outside Delhi. Third big takeaway, Akanksha, for me was this collective appeal. You know, people might say, well, you know, Prime Minister has given a job to the people. But I would say that, no, it's not a job. I think what Prime Minister is trying to do is trying to mobilize people in creating a positive public opinion that lockdown works. Because ultimately, we must understand the stories which we have been doing on WION. More than the physical aspect of lockdown, you need mental strength to be confined with your parents, children, your relatives in home, because India is unlike Western Europe. We have multi-generational society locked in one space. So you have a lot of people together in one place. So I think he's just trying to build the mental stamina of the nation that this is here to stay, and we can only fight COVID-19 with the feeling, with the thought that every individual decision or every individual attempt to collaborate with the exercise of social distancing will work. And that is why he has used two very powerful words which we in Northern India use, at least, Lakshman Rekha and Ramban.
Very rightly said, Kartikeya, as you rightly mentioned, that, he's also trying to mobilize the mental strength of the masses at a time when, we are witnessing health workers facing discrimination from neighbors and landlords. There's a lot of stigmatization that's happening, not to forget the mention of poverty that he also brought in. How do you think that, the Indian Prime Minister, the kind of clout that he commands over the masses, this message will actually have an impact on the masses?
You see, if we look at the contemporary social history of India, powerful messaging has been done by the Prime Ministers. If you look at Lal Bahadur Shastri's short tenure, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, or if you look at the powerful message which Indira Gandhi used on the Garibi Hatao programs, or the powerful message which Narendra Modi has used, in context of sanitation, in context of mobilizing public opinion, for a larger benefit of the society. You see, there are two ways of addressing large social issues. One, it can be a top-down state approach whereby experts take control of it. But if you look at the globalization or the larger global trends of past 5 or 6 years, there is a surge of public participation, public say in issues which were considered to be, the domains of the experts. So even in this pandemic, Prime Minister is right away addressing the last man, or the last person in the queue in context of whether he matters in context of public opinion or not. And I would see this in his video message which he sent yesterday. One, that every religious leader in this country needs to be mobilized to prevent spread of COVID-19, and before that telling chief ministers in video conferencing that we must have a common exit strategy. So I think, you need to prepare people. India is a very large country. It's a very dense country. So I think he's trying to prepare people that there will be a gradual exit strategy, but we need to be together. Every individual action makes a difference. And I would only say that for him to use the word Lakshman Rekha, Ramban, something which can be absorbed by common people, that social distancing is the Ramban against COVID-19, and that Lakshman Rekha needs to be maintained, is also something which he's trying to stress upon. And the last time when he asked people to come out and clap for the frontline workers, a lot of people broke law. A lot of people broke the rules of social distancing. So that's a message learned for the administration also. And I personally feel that actions like these do not work just by the intervention of the state. Unless and until civil society collaborates and cooperates with the state, a lockdown as big as this cannot succeed. And the example is United States of America, where people continue to flout social lockdown. Or, for example, there is no proper social lockdown in Sweden, or even in Australia, where we saw what happened in Bondi Beach, and the Prime Minister of Australia had to force a lockdown.
Right.
So in India, Akanksha, it has been pretty easy because people have actually collaborated with the Prime Minister.
And that is something that he's also acknowledged in his message today. And since you're talking of the lockdown, we must also, refer to yesterday's meeting that he had with the chief ministers, where, of course, as you mentioned, he spoke of a gradual exit strategy that they must come up with. So many, of course, today were expecting, a more concrete statement on whether or not the lockdown will be extended. What would you like to say to those critics who perhaps did not find the message as concrete?